Right.
The two-mark show, don't need a dressing gown. The two-mark show, you can put your run sheet down. The two-mark show, Cookmeister shows his hand. The two-mark show, the sheriff says, get off my land.
Good evening, everyone. It's the Two Marks Show back again, just for a quick 45, 50-minute show. Welcome to everyone that's in the chat, and also welcome to my brother Mark, the sheriff.
Big up, sir.
We've got Jose with us this evening, LTL Cockerel, and we've got the Dan list, Dan, and we've also got Nigel at Pure Kais. Welcome, everyone in. How are you all?
Yeah, all good. All good. Nice to be here with the guys that are on the panel.
Yeah,
excellent.
Nice to be here. Nice to be here. Evening, everyone.
Evening all. Well, we'll just have a little chat about Elfsborg on Thursday, Brentford tomorrow, and any transfers or anything that anyone wants to talk about. So let's crack on with Elfsborg Thursday night. General consensus from the panel of the evening in general. Jose, if you want to go first.
For me, unlike a lot of people, I was very happy on Thursday night. And the reason for my happiness was, if I listened to the majority of people, and I'm glad that I've got my own clear mind, but if I listened to the majority of people, we were going to struggle to win the game because we lack players, we lack a team and all that. But I left watching the game on Thursday night and I was happy that we'd got a win, because we haven't registered a win in a while. And two, I'm not sure how many teams out there, whether it be in their national league or whether it be in Europe, have 3 goal scorers from an academy in one night. If anyone can tell me, then please do. So I am not mopping up and sweeping under the carpet what them kids did. What them kids did was absolutely impressive. And it's something that it's been dark nights being a Tottenham supporter for this season. It's been very, very dark nights. We've lost so many games. It's not been a really good ride. It's been a bumpy ride. But there was a bit of shining light with them 3 youngsters scoring goals the other night. And for me, that's what I take from Thursday night, is that we shouldn't poo-poo on what these kids have done, because there's not many children. There's not many kids. Children? Yeah, there's not many kids that, and teams that get score lines and 3 academy youngsters scoring in one night. So that's what I took from it.
Yeah, excellent, Jose. Nigel, what do you think, mate?
Very similar to Jose, really. Listen, it wasn't the best game. It wasn't a game that got me off my seat, but it was so nice to see 3 youngsters score. 3 proper Tottenham lads get on a score sheet. Like I said, it wasn't the most exciting game. We huffed and puffed at times, but listen, if we can't enjoy a win, what can we do? We've lost so many games this season. I think, we take the win, we move on. And yeah, some really nice performances by the young kids.
Yeah, Dan?
So we were rubbish up until 70 minutes. And then the youngsters did their thing, which was fantastic to see. 3 homegrown players showing the first teamers how to do it. So a fantastic night for them boys. Yeah, we needed the points, qualifying that top 8. And we got that to look forward to now in March. Don't have to have that risky playoff match.
Yeah.
And that was it really for me. Uninspiring performance until those youngsters got involved. And yeah, that's it.
Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. Mark, what were your thoughts on it, mate?
Well, as you've seen from the thumbnail, the kids are all right. And I had to get the Who in there. One of my favourite bands. I tried to get a clip, but I wasn't sure whether we get done for it. And I don't know how to do it anyway. I did clip the Kids Are All Right video up, and I wanted to get it so I could play it. But I thought, are we allowed? I thought, I don't know. But I couldn't do it anyway because I'm useless.
As long as you keep it to 7 seconds or under, you can do a clip. Anything over 7 seconds, you'll get done for it. But mind you, you won't get done for it because you're not monetized.
No. Well, I don't know. I don't know how to do it anyway, Jose. So that was the end of that. I tried my hardest, but I couldn't figure it out. And that was with shouting and swearing at the computer and everything. But but the game was boring. One of the first half was like but then it sort of come to life, didn't it? When the kids come on, and I know, yes, they weren't the best team in the world, were they? In all fairness, I mean, they sold the best player to Plymouth. That sort of shows you what level they're on. But a win's a win. It was just nice to see a win for a change, wasn't it? It's been it feels like it's been bloody years since we won a game. What about you, Mr. Cook?
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same as you chaps, really. The first half I found really boring, to be honest with you. We seemed to be sort of going backwards and forwards across the pitch. They were blocking it off, weren't they? Trying to hit us on the break, but it didn't really happen. As you say, they're not at the level of even the players that we had on the pitch. So, but I was, again, the same as you lads. I was very pleased with the youngsters, especially the second goal. I thought the young lad with the second goal that he put in the bottom corner there, bit of pass and move with Dane Scarlett there, and it was that was very nice to see. But I'm pleased for him, man. You know what? At the moment, like Jose said, the way it is at Spurs, it's a bit dark at the moment. So it's nice to see a flicker of light from the young lads, shall we say, on Thursday night. So yeah, I was very pleased. What do we think about?
Sorry, Mark. Following from Thursday night, yesterday there was a draw for the Europa League for the next round. So yeah. Tottenham now know who their likely opponents are going to be.
Yeah, it's 4 teams, isn't it, Jose?
Yeah. So there's 2 games being played, and so when the winners of them 2 games win and they do the next draw, that it's obvious that they're going to play either Man United or Tottenham.
Right,
because that's the way it's worked out. So you know who the 4 teams are. So you know who the 2 matches are, and the winners of each game, they go into a little pot with 2 balls in it. One comes out, and then it's either us or Man United that come out. So we now know you're down to 4 teams. You know that you're going to be playing one of them 4 teams. So
who are they, Jose? Who are they?
I'll tell you now. Bear with me a second.
Midtjylland's one of them, isn't it?
Midtjylland's in the second game. The first game is Galatasaray against, and I'm going to need to look it up. Hold on, if I can bring the table up, I'll tell you now, because it worked out on the table. So it can either be AZ Alkmaar play Midtjylland.
Yeah.
And the other game is between Real Sociedad and Galatasaray.
Okay.
So that's one game. It's Galatasaray, Real Sociedad. The winners of that go through, and Midtjylland versus Alkmaar. The winners of that go through, and then we know that we play one or the other of them 2.
One of those 2.
And then Man United play the other one when they do the draw. So we know
and so does that mean that if whoever we get, we beat them, we might get Man United in the round?
No, because what they've done is they've separated the draw. They've got 2 sides for the draw, haven't they? So 1 and 2 go. When the balls come out, they'll go opposite each other. So will we be opposite Man United on the bottom part of the draw? So the earliest, if we were to carry on winning and Man United to carry on winning, the earliest you'd meet Man United would probably be, it's just going to be in the final. It'll be the final because they're on the other side of the draw. Right. So it's the final.
Okay. We just move away from that a little bit because it has been talked to death over the last few days, the Elfsborg game. It was what it was. The youngsters done their bit. Let's just move on to tomorrow a bit. Very important. Now Europe's out of the way for 6 or 8 weeks. We've got to start picking up wins in the Premier League. Just opinions again from all of you. Can we start doing that tomorrow?
Oh.
We have to, don't we? We have to.
Yeah.
I think we can. Brentford aren't unbeatable, but they are good at home. Listen, every game we play is going to be tough. We've struggled. We couldn't even beat Leicester. So, and Leicester got absolutely thumped today, didn't they? We're down in 16th place. Listen, we got to start turning up now. So, tomorrow we have to get something, whether it be a point. Right now I take a point. I snap your hand off the way we're playing for a point.
I agree with you, Nigel, to be quite honest with you. Anything will do at the moment. Anything but a loss. I'll take it at the moment, even if it leads to improving the confidence a bit, because it just seems like we're right on our downers at the moment, and you just can't see where the next win's coming from, the way it's going. It's all right beating Elfsborg, but like you said, they're a few levels below us, and we got the job done. But we're back to Premiership football tomorrow, and I think it's very, very important that we get something out of the game tomorrow. For confidence matters, if not anything else. Jose or Dan, what do you think, chaps? Mark?
With Brentford, they did have a great home record, but this is Brentford now, as I'm talking about. So Brentford in the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the last 5 home games that Brentford have played, they've drawn 1 and lost 4 at home. And that includes an FA Cup tie against Plymouth, because they're at home for that as well. Yeah. So, but in the Premiership, they've drawn 1, and that was 2 against Man City, but they've lost 3 home games. So in the last 4 games in the Premiership, they've only picked up 1 point from 12. So where they were impregnable earlier on this season, and they were beating everyone, they're winning all their home games. Recently, their form has dipped. But what I will say, for me, if I look at Thursday night's game, the positives for me for tomorrow, if I'm going to take positives out of it, is Kingsky's back tomorrow. Not that Austin had a bad game, but Kingsky's back tomorrow. We've got the opportunity of using Spence and Reguilon, who are both back in the squad tomorrow.
Yeah.
Mickey van der Ven got 45 minutes under his belt on Thursday night, so there's no doubt that Mickey van der Ven will play tomorrow. Whether he plays 60 minutes or whatever, he'll play tomorrow. And he looks assured, because we didn't play high line on Thursday night, and he looks a different type of defender to anything we've had playing at centre back. On Thursday night, he just looked totally different. He looked class. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. He didn't have to keep running after people and that. He just got tackles in. He was in the right place. He read the game. So that would be a boost to us as well. So the fact that our defence can improve with Reguilon, Spence, Mickey van der Ven in it, for me, is a plus and a positive. And then also in midfield, we'll probably have, I'm not going to say that our midfield's been the best this season, guys, but, in the midfield tomorrow, you will have, he can select from Bentancur, Sarr, Kulu, Bergvall. So there's players that he can pick in that midfield. And who did I miss? Bissouma as well, because Bissouma's back as well. So we're starting to get players back now. The only side that lets me down a little bit is when I watched this on Thursday night, I felt that we were like powder puff up front in the first half until all the kids came on and made the changes. I felt we were powder puff. And so to me, where I've got no problems tomorrow with getting defensive reinforcements and we're getting midfield reinforcements, not that our midfield would be great, where I think we lack at the moment, or we have done for the last few games, is up front. We don't look penetrative up front. But as always, and I'm an optimistic Spurs fan, I always want us to win. I'm sure all you do, guys, as well, do on the panel. And tomorrow, at the end of the day, I just want to see a good performance. I want to see some heart. I want to see a good performance from us, some heart, and I don't want to see any more injuries. But I think we've got a chance tomorrow with the players that we've got coming back.
Yeah. Dan and Nigel, your thoughts?
Look, the dogfight continues tomorrow. Tough game, Brentford. I do worry. I really do. I just can't see us getting anything, I've got to be honest. It will help if Van der Ven plays. We really need him with the pace that Brentford have got in their forward line. Spence must play right back. You've got to give Porro a rest. And it'll be good to see Reguilon and the team have a bit of natural left-sided play. Look, I just doubt so much if we can pick up anything. I have to be honest, the form is just awful. I try and look at that team and think, well, who's going to get us over the line? We've got no Maddison, he's out. The forward line is not great. Richarlison hasn't impressed me since coming back. It's going to be one big old struggle tomorrow. And I'm sorry, but I can't see us getting anything.
Fair comment, Dan.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nigel, what do you think?
It's what I said from the start. I think I would snap your hand off for a point now.
Mm.
We have got a few players back, which gives me hope. But I know Brentford aren't the best, haven't got the best form at home over the last 4 or 5 games. But if you look at probably our last 5 away games, we're probably pretty similar to their home form. So it's just going to be a battle. We're going to have to roll our sleeves up, and like Jose said, I want to see I want to see some fight in the team. If we're going to go down fighting. But I think we can get something. If we can get a point, I'll be happy.
Yeah. Mark, your thoughts on it, mate?
Well, yeah, the way we've been playing, Matt, it's not good, is it? The people coming back is obviously going to help. But, I mean, we're in such a bad place now. We've even got to celebrate, like, Ipswich losing, and Wolves won today as well. And so they're slowly, like, creeping up. This is how far we've dropped as a club. I mean, to celebrate teams like Ipswich and winning, I mean, it's not right, is it? I mean, but we all know who's fault for that. I'm not sure.
Guys, do you think Ange is going to drop that high line tomorrow?
No.
Do you think he's going to set up a way to get us to get a points, on the counter attack, sit in a bit, like teams who are in trouble and not informed, tighten up at the back? Do we think Ange will do this tomorrow? If he did do that, I think we'd have more of a chance. But he's not, is he? He's just going to go for it the same old way. High line and Mbuemo and Wizza, the space behind Damsgaard. And they're defensively good. I think Brentford, I know they've lost a few at home recently, but I think the opposition they played were pretty good. I think it was like Liverpool, wasn't it, Jose? Who beat them? Let's have a look. Is it Arsenal?
People like Wissa and Mbuemo have got pace, and they'll run at us, and we don't like that.
Space
we
and
don't
behind.
like that. Space as well, space over the top. If we're just so open at the back, and that bothers me more than anything else.
I just think it'll be so much space for Brentford, and it'll just be the same old. Just Ange won't change it up at all, will he? And you look at that performance in the week. I know the young kids did well, and fair play to them, but we weren't good, were we? We weren't good, and we made subs at half time as well. Didn't seem to make much difference. We're just a team that's lost confidence. There's no patterns of play. We're a team in awful form, and the performances are showing that and evidencing that. And unless Ange starts to kind of changing up a bit, just to try and get the points, it's all going to be one big struggle tomorrow. So look, that's how I see it.
I just changed the question a little bit. Jose, I just wanted to ask you, because I've never heard your opinion on it. What do you think about the manager's tactics and what he's doing on the pitch, and what he could change when you're looking at it and you think to yourself, go on then, do that, because in your head you're thinking it, but he's not doing it. But what are your feelings on him?
So for me, I've always said this, Cookie, that I'm not part of the cartel at Tottenham, so I don't take part in the training sessions. I don't know who's in the red zone, who's in the orange zone, who's in the green zone. So, I mean, sometimes I scratch my head when I see some lineups, but obviously these people know more than us because they work with them day in, day out. So they'll know who they reckon is fit and who's not. I just think that to play the system that he probably originally wanted to play, right, you need all your players, right? But then also what you do need to play the system that he probably wanted to play when he first started was you need people to be on point in their positions. And from whatever side he selects, we don't always seem to have 11 players that are gelling together. I mean, I watch some of the strikers, some of the wide players that we've got, and I see people attacking us and they just walk. They don't come, they don't track back, they don't defend, they just walk. And then I look at sometimes they're walking back, our fullbacks have gone that tad bit too far, our midfield then go to cover the flanks, and then the middle's exposed.
Yeah.
You know, and that's because people aren't doing their jobs. For me, it's people not doing their jobs. If you all are in sync, it's like a fucking a well-oiled car. It's all got cogs and springs, and it all goes round. If it's oiled properly, everything goes round. But we don't play like that. We haven't played that way for a long time. It's very sporadically that we play like that. So for me, sometimes, like I said, I scratch my head like the rest of you do. But sometimes when I see the lineups, the stuff that's happened, and we're not all behind closed doors because we're not all part of it. But you like to think what has gone on behind the scenes, because you've got someone like Jed Spence who's now started to play for us in the last 2 months or so.
Yeah.
And he's probably been one of our best players in the games that he's played. Now, he was someone that was marginalised by not only this manager, it appears, or this regime now, but previously as well. But he's come back, and for me, he looks like you watch him on the bench when he's been injured, and he's watching from the bench. He's part of the team. He wants the team to do well. And when he's on the pitch, he puts in 110, and you're like, well, why hasn't he been playing from the start? So, there is a bit of head scratching that goes on. I mean, you've got you've got the Werner situation. Werner I can't knock him. He's a professional footballer. But when he plays, he offers absolutely nothing. You can't offer me 3 crosses in 18 months. That's not an offering that you'd expect. So therefore, when he keeps playing him, and I know we say the youngsters are too young and stuff like that, but I look at and I know they're trained differently, but I look at teams in Spain, I look at teams in Germany, they're playing their 17, they play their 18-year-olds in their first teams, and okay, they may not play as many games as we do in the Premiership because we always play midweek games. When there's a free midweek, we always end up putting another league game in the midweek. But they play in other countries, and you think to yourself, bloody hell, if they're given an opportunity in another country, if our youngsters are that good, why don't we give our youngsters that opportunity? It'd be interesting to see the lineup tomorrow, Cookie, see if Mikey Moore starts. Because for me, Mikey Moore is better than anything we have playing on that left-hand side. And I include Sonny with that. And Sonny, for me, is not the player to hug and to draw players in on the touchline. Although, in saying that, against Elfsborg, we look at the quality of the opposition, but against Elfsborg, he made 10 attacking take-ons on Thursday night, and that's the most he's done in, I don't know, however many years that he's done that. So for me, I scratch my head in answer to your question. I do scratch my head at times on selections that are done, but I feel that the selections can be done, but some of the players don't play up to what they're meant to do. Then you've got the argument that people are going to say, but then he just stands on the touchline and he doesn't holler, bellow, move his arms around and stuff like that. So, it's just been an awful, awful time. It's not been the most awful time because 2 of you at the top, all of us on the top screen have seen some really dark times for Tottenham as well.
Yeah.
This ain't the darkest. Honestly, guys, to be honest to people, we might be 16th in the league after today's scores. But this ain't the darkest time. We've had darkest times. I supported Tottenham when we got relegated in 77.
And me.
Dark times. I was there when we had the infighting with Irving Scholar when he nearly made us bankrupt. So we've had some dark times as Tottenham. Tottenham has never been plain sailing. It's always been ups and downs. And we are just going for a big down at the moment, or we have done this season so far. I'm hoping that it turns around. But I think in order for it to turn around, I think you've got to look at everyone. You've got to look at the board. You've got to look at the directors of football, whoever they may be, whether it's Munn, whether it's Langer. You've got to look at them. You've got to look at Ange. You've got to look at the coaching team, and you've got to look at the players. It's everybody needs to be looked at. I think a portion of the blame for this season needs to go and be spread around everybody. Some people on the panel and some people in the chat will probably portion the blame more one way than the other. But I'm saying that all 5 areas or 6 areas, they're all blamed in some way. But however much you portion to it is an individual choice.
We got big problems, massive problems. Both sides. We've got a rubbish owners, and we've got a rubbish manager, in my opinion. So we're really up against it here. Look at this the saga going on in this transfer window. Absolute farce. Nobody wants to come and play for us, and it's just leaving us. Who we're getting in by Monday, and we're desperate. We're desperate for
Yeah.
quality coming in. Now, I do think we will pick up some wins once we get more players back. It's not going to be pretty, but I do think we will pick it up. But for the first maybe 3-4 weeks, it's going to be a hell of a struggle. I've looked at the fixtures coming up, and I just can't see us picking up any points. We've got the cup games as well. We've got the big game on Thursday. The manager will be keeping an eye on that as well, who he's playing tomorrow, because Thursday is a massive game, isn't it? So he's going to have to manage the squad tomorrow carefully, because it's the same team going to be able to play 2 games. I don't think so. So look, it's we talk about dark times. For me, it is probably is the darkest time at the moment. We're in such awful form. I can't remember us being in this such bad form. I know under Ramos we had 2 points out of 8 before Redknapp came in, but it changed round, didn't it, when Redknapp came in and lifted us up. Now, I'm surprised Ange's still in the job. He's still here. I'm just waiting for him to lose the job, because you can't keep losing football matches in the league. The league is the bread and butter. Whatever going on in the cups, you can't keep losing. So unless Ange starts picking up some results in the league, then I think eventually he will go, especially if we go out those cup competitions in the next week or so. We've got our away game to Villa at the weekend in the FA Cup, a very tough game. And it doesn't get much easier after that if you look at the fixtures. But, you hope that with some players coming back, there is a load coming back after 10 days, I've read. A bunch of players coming back. So that will help the team. But if you look at the current form, you look at how we're playing, we're awful at the moment. We're absolutely dreadful. And tomorrow, I just can't see us how we're going to get anything from that game. If you can't beat the likes of Leicester at home, what hope have you got going away to Brentford? Thomas Frank will know what to do against Spurs, and it's just going to be very painful.
Yeah, well, the transfer window so far has been an absolute shambles. We've had more rejections than Tinder. It's just a player that we're linked to and we agree terms with. It's like just swipe left all the time. Nah, get out of here. Get out of here. I don't want to go there. And I don't want to keep mentioning it, but it's the guy at the top that's caused all of this. He's caused all of it. We built the game-changing stadium for this. It's a nonsense as far as I'm concerned. I have never, ever felt so disconnected from the club I support. Ever. And that's all the years I've supported them, 50 plus. It's just a complete shambles at the club. I mean, when I don't know where we were at the start of the transfer window, probably 14th, 13th, but you would have thought bodies would have been straight in, but no, and here we are now, February the 1st, whatever it is today, we're scrabbling around like in the bargain basement, just trying to get any old scraps that's left.
Is this because Levy's burnt all his bridges though, Mark, and the power?
More than likely.
Is that what it's all about?
100%.
There's no plan from the club at all.
No.
You would have thought they would have had a plan in place. January, this is what we got to do. And it's just a complete scattergun now. We look desperate, and it's a little bit embarrassing, I think.
Yeah, to me, I mean, I've said all along, I manage teams in my real work life and that. And you plan not for the next month, you plan for the next 6 months. We plan for the next year. We've got rotors out for teams. We know who's going to be on leave and who's going to be where, and we know all this, and we plan for all this. Before I went on leave in December, started a recruitment drive because I was 3 staff short. So we started a recruitment drive. We've done all that. When I got back from leave, we did the interviews and that, and we ended up hiring 4 people, not 3. You know, this is all planned for and all prepared. We have been in the mire. You know that the window closed in the summer window closed, and at that point, normally clubs plan for the summer window, right? Then you, in between the summer window and the end of December, you see what's happened to Tottenham Hotspur, right? And you're seeing what all the injuries that we had and everything that's been going on at the club. You'd like to think that what we would have done is we would have accelerated some of the summer signings. We would have started speaking, because it happens behind closed doors. You start speaking to agents of players and say, does Johnny fancy coming to us? Because we fancy him. Does he fancy coming to us? What will it take for him to come? And you have all these conversations. But the window opened up on the 1st of January. Well, today's the 1st of Feb today, isn't it? Yeah, 1st of Feb. With 2 days left of the window, we've been rejected by 3 players already, right? We've been rejected by 3 players already. I think to myself, what planning, like United, what planning has taken place? Because we should have been ready to go bang, bang, bang on the 1st of January, because we've done all this work. We've been talking to agents. We've been sussing players out. And all. We're now scrambling around trying to do deals for players that may not even improve us. It's just a body through the door, you know, and the fact that 3 players have turned us down. Now, if it's true as well, so the planning's out the window, guys. Yeah, whoever's been doing the planning and whoever's been doing the talking. If Langer's meant to be this director of football, right? I've always been sceptical about Langer. I don't think he can finish a deal. I think he's awful. Villa let him go. They didn't put a fight up for him. And then if it's true what they're saying, what I read on X, that Daniel Levy has now got involved, or has had to get involved in it, has had to fly to countries and get involved in the deals. One, it means Langer can't do the deals. Scott Munn can't do the deals if they're getting Levy involved. What was the point bringing them in to do the football side of it if Levy's then got involved again? But what has actually happened is, because of our position in the league and whatever Levy and the others have said to these players, obviously, it hasn't worked what Langer and Munn, whoever spoke to Moani and spoke to the other players. So they send Levy over, and whatever Levy's saying to them, they don't want to know either. And it just puts us in a bad position. You've got players, all 3 players have rejected us, by the way. Their clubs didn't want them. Their clubs wanted them. If you could sell them to other clubs, their clubs would have just rubbed their hands and said, yeah, you can have them. The fact that Moani's now got the Juve on a straight loan with no sell-on clause, PSG are not happy about that. Okay, they brought another player in because he's gone out, but they wanted him sold. And the fact that these players, they didn't want these players either, and we cannot then bring them to our club, is a really, really sad indictment of where we've got to.
But why would they come to us now? Look at us, 16th in the league. Ange is our manager. Look, I'll ask everybody here. And there was a comment Ben made in the chat that Everton are above us now. That squad we have is better than 16th place. I'm 100% sure. Look, it's not perfect, we know, but we shouldn't be there, and it's all because of the bad management from Ange. That's what it is.
But if you pick a team,
no way be there. No way. I just don't get it. Go on. Sorry, Jose. What are you going to say?
I'm going to say, but I'm saying I'm blaming the portion. I reckon the portion should be blamed on a lot of people. Ange, for his faults or his good or whatever, he picks a side to go out and win games. And if the players don't perform, we're not giving it to the players. I think there are so many players in our team who've underperformed. It's either they've been found out and they are absolutely crap.
No,
right?
They're not crap.
Or they've underperformed. Well, I'll tell you what, I look in the midfield that we've got and I'm thinking to myself, I'll take anybody else's midfield in the Premiership compared to the midfielders we've got at the moment, because they are dire.
It's Ange's system, man. It's not working for them.
3 won't play. Hold on. But you can pick any 3 of all the midfielders we've got and none of them play well together. They're just awful. The 3 of them that you pick are awful. And they haven't played together. It's as if they're all like people that have just met on the day to go and play a game of football. Now, either these players should be good players and be able to play football, but I can't blame the manager, everything on the manager. The manager takes blame, but I can't blame everything onto him because
not everything, but a lot.
I can't blame everything on him because the players, when he picks them, you select these players, they play awful. Bissouma, Pape Sarr, They've been absolutely awful all season. Masuma's been awful from the day he joined the club. Papsar hit his ceiling against Milan, and ever since then, I haven't seen Papsar put performance. I even think to myself, did Papsar play today? He's so anonymous on the pitch, and at the end of the day, what is it? The manager's fault that they don't turn up and play football.
No, look, I see where you're coming from, but these players have lost confidence playing in a system that doesn't work, and every loss, another loss, another loss. They don't believe in Ange anymore. Ange leaves us so open, and I just can't see how suddenly these players can be crap overnight. They're not. There's a lot of good players in
No.
that team. I believe so. I just think if we were set up better, we're just not coached right. There's no improvement in teams, in any player in this. It is very unusual for not have any improvement in any player. And that's all down to the coaching and the management of the team. Yes, Ange wasn't supported in that summer transfer window. We all knew this. We all were saying that in the summer. It's let him down. But week by week, we're getting worse and worse and worse. And this evidence is there staring us in front of our face. All the stats, all the data around Ange since after that first 10 games last season are just down. And I'm sorry, I can't have it that these players are all rubbish. They're not. They're just mismanaged. And that's how I see it.
Is he a coach? Is he a coach, Jose, or is he a manager? Is he a delegator? Or is he a coach?
He's a delegator. He's a manager. He's a delegator.
That's for me. That's not what we need.
Yeah.
We need, like Pochettino when he was here, just as an example, we need a
but
manager
you know what, Mark?
that
Do you know what,
coaches
Mark?
players, Jose.
There was an interview the other day, right, with a fella who was at Tottenham under AVB, Harry, Poch, and Mourinho. He was under all of these, and he said that Pochettino wasn't a coach. Pochettino was also a manager. He said Jesus Perez was the one that did all the coaching. Jesus and all the coaches did all the coaching of the players, and all Pochettino did is he was a manager. He just delegated and told the coaches what to do. So it's the same as what Ange does. Now, I'll go back to another thing, right? What I've just said about what I've just said about these midfielders, right? Conte was our previous manager, and for the rights and wrongs, Conte has always been a really good manager everywhere he's been, and for Tottenham, he was a decent manager as well for a time, right? Conte did not pick Basuma. Conte was loath to pick Papsar. So it's not just, these players have become bad players overnight. Conte weren't picking them. So, at the end of the day,
was just a young boy when Conte came in, weren't he? He was just, they went out on loan, didn't he? I think it's a bit unfair on him.
Yeah, he went out on loan, but when he came back to the club, though, Dan, right, and he wasn't on loan, he was back as a first-team player in and around the squad, he would not pick Sarr either. He would not pick Basuma. It's not just Ange. To me,
Basuma, I thought he was doing work, Brighton, weren't he? Every team wanted them. Liverpool wanted to sign Basuma.
Yeah,
he's just lost his way.
I thought we got a bargain. I honestly thought we had a bargain when we picked up Basuma.
As you're all aware, the closest Premiership club to me is Brighton, because I live down on the south coast. So when I play football with the boys, because I still play footy, loads of them are Brighton supporters because of the area that I live in. They said to me when we got Basuma at the time, they said to me, if he turns up in a game for you and he can turn up consistently, you've got an absolute gem on your hands. He goes, but at Brighton, he had too much baggage. It was all the off-the-field stuff that he did, and he didn't turn up for every single game for Brighton either. So what we've had from Basuma is exactly the same as what the Brighton fans had from him.
Yeah.
They were happy when Basuma got sold to us because they still had Caicedo. They still had Pascal Gross there playing. So they were happy with all that. Do you know what I mean? And they said at the time, when he's on it, he can be a world beater. But he doesn't.
I've been disappointed in him. I've got to admit, he is Mr. Inconsistent. I have to be honest. I have been disappointed in him.
Yeah.
Turns up one game and not the next. I just think there's just so many issues, isn't there? With
there's a lot.
There is a lot, and you can blame. Of course, it's the responsibility of the players as well. But overall, it's the manager. And going back to the coaching staff, Jose, what you said about Pochettino and his coaching staff, I just think our coaching staff are not great, are they? They're not good. They're not good coaching staff, are they?
It tells me something when Postecoglou has never taken anybody with him anywhere. It's just a mix and match of people that he can collect and bring in.
But what's interesting, Dan, is that I hear what you're saying, and I agree with you. I've checked, and I said it on my channel. Right? I looked up. It's easy. You go on Google, you put the coaches' names in, and their CVs come. You can see what they've done in football, in their footballing careers, what they've done in their coaching careers, and that. Our coaches at Tottenham Hotspur haven't got anything on their CVs, on their coaching CVs,
Says a
right?
lot.
Anything at all. But on X and all social media, and you hear people saying, sack the manager and let Ryan go in there. So
No.
I don't know, or Matty Wells or anything like that. They're all saying that they'll get more of a tune out of the players. These are the coaches that are coaching the players at the moment.
No, I
If
don't
they
have
become
that.
but if they become the manager or the coaches, if they become the managers and have to manage and coach them or whatever they do, why would the results then change? Because you're the ones that are coaching them in the first place. Anyway, we could go on days
We
and days.
could.
Like, we had a question about 10 minutes ago. Who believes there will be a last-minute signing of proven player like Van der Vaart
No chance.
No,
in
Paul.
2010,
No.
just to
No,
appease the fan base?
We're finished. We're finished. We're absolutely finished this season.
I can't see it.
No,
Paul, we're going in for players that other clubs don't want, and we still can't sign them.
yeah,
Yeah.
no chance.
And we agree. This is the thing that gets me: is we agree terms with the club, we agree terms with the player. So it's not even wages. I know we bash Levy for not paying the money, but the player's like, stuff that, I'm not going there. And it's like,
Do you
swipe
remember when
left.
do you remember when there used to be a time when we would go in for a player and the player would agree terms with Spurs, but it would mess up because Levy couldn't agree with the club? Now it's the other
Yeah.
way around.
Yeah,
Clubs
yeah.
are saying yeah, but the players don't want to come.
We agree. We agree like terms with the club, i.e. like the value. We even agree terms with the terms for his wages and all that. But when it's he's like, no, I'm not going there. No. It's like that Tell. Apparently he wants to go to Man United.
Nah, Tell's going to stay at Bayern Munich, and
He's going to stay.
I reckon he'll stay at Bayern Munich. That's
Oh,
my
well,
opinion. I think he's
wait,
going to stay at Bayern Munich, and he'll reassess his situation in the summer.
Yeah.
He will not
'Cause-
leave Bayern Munich for a fee, as in a small transfer, till the summer.
There was strong rumours that Man United was going in for him.
But Man United need to get rid of players before they can.
Well, yeah.
It's a
Aston
tough
Villa are strongly linked with Rashford now,
yeah.
I think. Yeah.
But in return, they've got Patrick Dorgu apparently coming in from Lecce.
Yeah.
So they still need to get rid of players to bring players in. So
Yeah.
the other thing I will say as well, from what you guys have said, is but to answer that question, I'm like the rest of the panel. I think it's highly unlikely that we're going to bring in a proven player. However, I'm not going to. I'll say 99% it's unlikely, but the 1% of me says that if you are going to do something like that, one, you're going to pay over the odds, and two, you will need to break the wage structure that you've so conveniently brought right down in order to bring a player of that caliber into the club.
Mhm.
Because if you're going to pay peanuts, then you know what you're going to get. You're going to get little rodents. You won't get the big tigers, because you've got to feed the tigers steak. And if you feed peanuts, the little rodents will eat the feed off the peanuts, but the tigers eat steak.
That's exactly right. And this is where,
Hang on.
well, we're not going to go over Mr. Levy too much, because in 15 minutes, Mr. Daigle was talking all about Levy, and I will
We're
put the
going to
link
be done
in.
in 7 minutes, chaps, just so you're aware.
We can
50
have a
minutes.
little chat about it. I think, don't you think?
And we've
Before
got
we go,
7 minutes for you to have a
yeah,
chat.
let's
about
all have a
that,
go
Dan.
about it. I've got a lot to
Yeah,
say
why
about it.
not?
Go on, Dan. You crack on, mate. Go on.
All right.
Yeah, this has to be a massive push now from the fan base to do something about this board. They have to all come together. Obviously, we know what's going on in the Man United game. Encourage everybody to turn up if they can. If you can't, I understand people have got busy lives, families, and everything. I get that. What can you do as a fan? Stop spending money on the club. Stop buying stuff from the club shop. People have to get on board with this and do something. It's gone on far too long. 24 years, one trophy. The club are all worried about everything else other than what goes on a football pitch, and change needs to happen. And I just really hope there's a massive turnout on that day, that Man United game. I'm going to try and get down there myself for that march. And this has got to be consistent. If you go into the games, make sure you sing Levy out for out, even when we're winning. It can't die off. We've got to push to get this board to, well, you know, they're not going to just sell up like that. But even if it gets them to start changing and looking at this totally differently, you know, they can do things. They can break the wage structure. This January transfer window, they should have, you know, first of all, they should have sacked Ange, gotten another manager, and given that manager 3 top players to move us forward into for the rest of the season. We're still in the cup competitions. We've still got a chance to win something, but they'll never do that. They never do. And that's what we need to do. We need to take the board. They need to take this club seriously and want to do something. I've had enough of it. And I really hope that, you know, you have a wave of things when everything's, you know, that everybody's on that kind of Levy out train. I hope it continues and it doesn't stop. Even if we win a couple of games, keep it going. Yeah. Let that board know. Yeah, that this is not good enough. And, you know, that's just my little battle cry. People will do what they want. I really hope they do. Over to somebody else to have their say.
Yeah, I'll make mine quick. I agree with everything that Dan says. For me, I was at the Leicester game. There was lots of chance of Levy out until we scored. As soon as we scored, it stopped. And it wasn't until we were losing again till it started. So exactly what Dan says, got to be throughout the game. The Levy out chance have got to continue throughout the game. And even if they do something where fans start leaving at a certain minute, that would make Levy stand up and take notice. But for me, I don't see Levy leaving anytime soon. But if it makes him change, if it makes him, I mean, he spends money in the transfer window. That's the problem. It's the way we're spending money. It's the people we're spending money on. Recruitment's awful. Just to make him change, for me, that would be a great start.
Yeah. Jose,
Yeah.
any thoughts on that, mate?
Yeah, for me, look, I've never been the biggest. I've never been the biggest Levy out, but there are things that just don't ring true and haven't done. There are things that have tipped me. I've always thought he's a bit of a shyster. Anyway,
Welcome to the dark side, Jose.
I've always thought he's a bit of a shyster. I've always thought he's a bit of a shyster. But this year, there are 3 things that have tipped it for me. But for me, I'm pretty much Nigel. For me, I've said that Levy's got a family and he's got kids. And for me, Levy, why would you sell the club, lock, stock and barrel? Why would you sell it all if it's a cash cow that you could continue to make money from it for decades and decades to come? And all he has to do is pass it down to his son or his daughter and the name will continue. The only way that he goes, I believe, is if someone gives him the right money that he wants, then he'll go. Otherwise, we're stuck with him. What I'm happy about with people, the protest and that, is I feel that the protests have been, that people have done well, that started protesting years ago, but I think they were seen coming. Everyone knew what they was going to do, and it was all seen as, yeah, we can preempt it, we can prepare for it, because we know it's coming. With this new wave of change for Tottenham, they didn't see the banners coming to the stadium the other day. They didn't know that was going to happen. However, what they then did after the horse was bolted is on Thursday night, they put extra security on for the Elfsborg game to make sure that banners didn't get in and, you know, to try and avoid that. Now, with what Change for Tottenham are doing, I'm sure it's going to be on the on Brian's show at 9 o'clock. But what they're doing is that, yeah, you'll get bits and pieces to, you know, of what we're going to be doing, right? And then the club will get to hear about the certain bits and pieces. So if you're going to protest outside the shop again, they'll know that's happening. But what you've got to be doing is you've got to be so sensible in whatever you're doing that you don't give all the information out. You only give it to the people that you trust that are going to go and protest or going to go and do things for you, because then the club don't get to find out. Now, for me, the 3 things that have turned me off this year and made Levy look like a right shyster for me more than ever is taking the concessions away from the old ones.
Yeah.
Right, that's number 1. Number 2 is Levy went to, I think it was Oxford or Cambridge about 3 or 4 months ago, and did a chat with the student union, and they asked Levy, and you've got to remember that before Levy answers a question, he vets all the questions, and then he prepares his answer. He says, yeah, you can ask me that or not. So all the questions are pre-prepared, so it means he can pre-prepare his answer. He was asked, what are your major 3 achievements in football?
Yeah.
And in order, he said his first one was building a stadium. Number 2 was reaching the Champions League final. And I think number 3 was having a great team or something like that, he said. Not once did he mention the trophy that we won in 2008, because that is what you call an achievement. You've won a trophy. That's an achievement. So that was red flag number 2 for the season for me. And the red flag number 3 now is exactly what we've just been talking about and what's going on now this season. We are on our fucking knees, chaps, and he has done fuck all to help the team on the footballing side. And today's the 1st of February. They are the 3 massive red flags for me this season. I knew he was a shyster before, but this season, that's what says to me, something's. If you carry on like that, it doesn't matter what you fucking do. We're never going to improve on the pitch like that.
Great. Yeah, this is great. Great. Sorry, Mark, just quickly. Fans, it's up to the fans now. It's over to the fans. If they want change, they have to make it happen. If they don't, nothing's ever going to change. So it's over to us now as fans to come together and do something.
Right. Now my say on this, right? Now, Mr. Levy is the constant pain of why we're not successful, right? It doesn't matter who the manager is at this club. Levy will only spend enough to keep us relevant. He's not interested in winning trophies. He never has been. When he came in 2000, I think, he said, we at Enoch see a chance to invest in football to make money. That was his first statement he ever made. We are no longer a football club. We are an entertainment business. Right? And that's the dead end of it. All he's interested in is money. Money. Why do you think the pints fill up from the top and you can't spend cash in the stadium? It's because it's quick. Bang, 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 bang. It's to make money. That's all he's interested in. The man he's slowly eroding our history, taking all trace of it away. Like, you go in the ground, there's hardly anything about us winning the cup in 81, 91, 82, 84, the double side. It's just slowly being brushed under the carpet for corporate greed. And that's all he's interested in. And as far as getting Mr. Levy out, now I'm sure all of you know, especially on the panel and most of the chat, I've been Levy out since Poch got sacked. When Poch got sacked, that was the final straw for me because I loved Poch. But the thing is now, he's built basically a cash printing machine. Because that stadium is a license to print money. It really is. Not that I've been a lot, but you could just see it everywhere. It's just bang, 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 money. And so to get him out now, I think personally, is nigh on impossible. It is, because he's got all his infrastructure in place. And when you're going to be raking it in like he is, he's not going to sell up now. But, this is the big but, if the fans can put pressure on him, so he does change and put the football first, he does change to make us successful, he does invest in the football team, and he gets us back to where we once were, then that's all well and good. I'd have no problems with him if he put the football first, but unfortunately he doesn't. He gives us enough to keep it. You look at when poor old Poch was with us. We were an inch from winning the league twice. And he did nothing. Nothing. He would not push that final little bit to get us over the line. It's because at the time, Champions League money was important to the club. For the 50, 60 million, whatever it brings in. That's not even as important anymore to get Champions League every season, because the stadium just makes that much money. Was it? Rolling Stones are there soon, aren't they? 3 or 5 gigs. There's box.
Mark, what you just said, Mark, before Cookie finishes it off, but what you just said, Mark, is it really interesting. You said in your lifetime when watching Levy, he only just about does something to make us relevant. Yeah? They were your words, right? And I've heard you say this many times. Where the fuck is our relevance now? Because he hasn't spent fuck all to make us relevant anymore, has
Jose, the stadium is making that much money It doesn't matter whether we're relevant anymore. He did it in the past because we needed the Champions League money. The way the stadium rakes in money these days, mate, Champions League money is it still might be needed, but it's not as important. He's filtered down. He's like diluted the football side of it that much. The stadium now, mate, is a place where all the rest of it goes on, and a game of football breaks out every 2 weeks. That's all it is. We're an entertainment business now, and that's all it is. Anyway, right, it's 2 minutes to 8, Mark.
Yeah, it's 2 minutes to 8.
I'm going to pop the link in the chat.
Yeah.
Right. Please click on this link.
Yeah,
Please.
if you can go over to Tottenham on Tour, everyone.
Yeah.
The
link's in
at 9 o'clock.
the link's in the chat. If you can go over to there and put 2 Marks raid or something, that'd be lovely.
Yeah, that would be great. I'd just like to say thank you to Jose for coming on this evening, even though it was very short. Jose, if you come back on again soon.
Yeah, all the links are right at the top of the chat.
Yeah.
All
To
the
Dan,
links.
thanks for coming on, Dan. That's great.
Thank you.
And for Nige as well. Thank you so much for coming on, all of you.
Thank you.
It's been a great chat tonight, as brief as it's been, and hopefully we'll all do it again. Yeah, great stuff. So, only one more thing to say. It's a good night from me.
Hang on. And it's a good night from him.
Good night, everyone. Like and subscribe to everyone. Thank you very much.
Good night. Thank you. Good night.